Good morning, brethren. We thank God for the grace we receive from God. And we also give glory and honor to God for enabling us to come and worship Him in truth and in spirit. Likewise, we pray to God to console those that lost their beloved ones and those that are under resuscitation. We also pray that God will take absolute control of the situation. This morning we are continuing from where we stopped last time. Marriage. As we know, there is always a plan that has been established by God right from onset, and even that was the first institution God created to tell us or to reveal to us the importance of family, because without family there will be no community. No community, no society, no, the world at large will not be in existence. And also, the way and manner our family are dictates the situation in our community, the state, the country, and the world at large. We see that today, people are saying Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is bleeding because of untrained products, because of cracks in the wall of many families, because those that were brought up under strict control, we never see them aligning themselves with somebody that will be carrying out illegality. But because of the lack of home training, because of the lack of the fear of God, things are falling apart. Innocent people are paying dearly for it. That is the implication. Likewise in the church too, the way our family are dictates all that is going on in the church. If you see a peaceful, cooperating church, do your due diligence about their family. They are in control, or majority are in control. In a situation where majority are not in control, things will continue to fall apart, and the center will never hold. It's not a cause, because everything, just as we say, charity begins at home. Church can only play a part, but the bulk of it lies in the families. Because like today now, the church has got our own program, but it is the duty of the family to assist the church to carry out the program diligently, satisfactorily, to please God. For instance, we have already planned that our children will start their class today, but who are we going to teach? Is that the fault of the church? But individuals are contributing to it. So the failure of the church starts from individual family. If the church succeeds, the family are trying. If the church fails, the bulk of it lies in the individual families. So you can see it and you can judge it by yourself. So whenever we talk about family or marriage, not that but we know that it was the first institution created by God. And if it was not important, God wouldn't have even carried it out as a first assignment. As a first assignment. Because God knew the implication of the lapses in the family is going to affect everything created by God, just as it's affecting the entire country today. In continuation of what we are learning, last time we learned about sisters' wife responsibility. Part of it is the responsibility of husbands. Love your wives. God's plan is for a man to be a Christ-like leader in the home, to love his wife as Christ loved the church. How do we know that Christ loved the church? We knew that Christ loved the church by coming and dying for the church, dying for humanity. That is the duty of the husband. Because immediately you say, I do, you are pronouncing it in the presence of many, vowing that until death separates, that you are going to take absolute control. You will not do anything that will injure your wife, that will lead to shedding of tears, that will lead to, today you go kill me. If you don't kill me, I will not allow you to go out. That was what you vow on that day. It may not even be, it may be just in the parlor. But where we have one or two witnesses, and God is the chairman of that occasion, whatever you do has been endorsed by God. If after you are now violating the law of God, or you believe you are the champion, after all, na me be the owner of my head of my family, you are not the owner. Somebody attested to that vow on that day, and anything that goes wrong with that vow, that person or that God is writing it down against you, because that was not what you vowed that day. Now that you are going contrary to your vow, then there must be a consequence. The consequence is going to affect the families involved, the neighbors, the church, the society at large. That was the reason why the Bible is saying, just as Christ loved the church, because on that day Christ did not even decide to run away when he was on trial. In the book of Matthew 27 verse 25 or so, when the Pharisees were saying, crucify him, let his blood be upon us and on our children. He had power to avoid that crucifixion, but he didn't. That is the responsibility he took over humanity, and that is the responsibility God is now asking the head of the family to carry out. But when we are now failing in our responsibility, that is what we call eternal locus of control in research. When you are failing, you will be attributing your failure to your wife. It's my wife that is my problem. You will not do what we call internal locus of control. What is your contribution to the crisis going on? But we'll be attributing it to external factors, which Christ himself supposed to But he did not do. He knew it was his responsibility. He knew it was his duty. And he carried it out without evading it. But today, brethren will be embarking on external locus of control, attributing their failure to many things. If you give them questionnaire now, you will see a lot of lies the brethren will be telling, just to make sure they defend themselves, they prove themselves to be innocent. That is not what God is expecting from anybody. And don't forget, the law of God is for the good of humanity. It's for the good of humanity, it's for our own benefit. I remember when I was reading the narrative Bible, when the children of Israel left the land of Egypt, they vowed that all that God asked them, they would do. But along the line, they started to deviate. They started to deviate. That is what is still going on in our life today. Where you say, I do, nobody force you. But along the line, you start to deviate. You start to abandon what you vow in the presence of all. And there will be problem. There will be problem. When a man loves as Christ loves, it produces the best result in his own life. Yes, you are the one that is benefiting. You are the one that is benefiting. In his wife's life and in the life of the family. If there is peace in your family, who is benefiting most? Now the church. Before the church benefit, it is you. Because you are in control. You will be like what Joshua. Joshua stood in the presence of millions of Israelites. He said, for me and my family, we are going to do what? If he has not carried out his own homework effectively, perfectly, diligently, he wouldn't have been bold enough to voice out. Because there will be rebellion. Who is he talking about? He's not representing us. But he knew he had carried out his due diligence. But today, how many families can boldly say, as for me and my family, we are going to do this? There are many of us, we can't speak on behalf of our family. You can't come out and speak boldly. In fact, people will be making jest of you. So, 29 teaches that a man is to cherish his wife. The word cherish means to hold dear, care for tenderly, keep in mind, cling to. These are the duties of the man. And anyone that failed in cherish, hold dear, care for tenderly, keep in mind, cling to, you are, in fact, you are only disappointing yourself. You are only digging your grave, not any other person's grave. Because that is the assignment. And that is what you vowed that day. It was voluntary. It was voluntary. If men refuse their God-given responsibility, then happiness is impossible. You see, once you fail in your responsibility, in fact, happiness will elude you. I'm not cursing. Is truth. Failure to carry out God's assignment, failure to hold on to your family, failure to be in control, happiness will not be there. The responsibility of children. The Bible says, obey your parents. Fine. Why? If you obey your parents, your days will be long. Because your parents, they have seen, they have passed through life. And what they acquire is not what you read. Those of them that went to university, it's not what you read in university that is called experience. It's the life you have passed through. It's the life you have passed through. What you know that danger is ahead is what you are now applying to the coming ones. Yorùbá dẹ̀ ni ọmọdé ò láṣọ títí kó lákìísà bí àgbà ká má rí. God forbid, no matter the number of clothes a child get, he cannot get rag like the elderly ones. So when the Bible say obey your parents, it's just it's telling you so that we live long on earth. Because your parents, they have seen both positive and negative part of life. They knew those that passed this way yesterday, some of them are kirikiri. Some of them have been shot at Ikeja. There's one place at Ikeja. They do shot, kill. Police, they just kill, say you are armed robber. No trial, nothing, bam. Those are the things your parents have witnessed. That is the reason why they are now saying, well, that journey, don't join them. Don't do what? Don't join them. So if you are now saying, well, because you have gained admission, you know it all, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your time. Wasting your time. And I pray you will not bring sorrow to your parents. Because if a child's life is cut short suddenly, the sorrow will be in the mind of the parents. So, because of that, parents, children, obey your parents. Is very key. Obedience and honor are basic ingredients in creating harmony and happiness in the home. Obedience seems to have gone out of style in many homes. You see, there are some homes that obedience is, in fact, it has eluded the family. Everybody is on his own. We have federal government, state government, local government, and CDA in a single family. Things have fallen apart. And the center will not hold. Whereas others are supposed to come from a source. Right from onset, the instruction is coming from God, sending it to church, from church to individual. God never leave a vacuum. But if in our own family, obedience is not observed, we are too knowledgeable. You can speak with your nose, blow grammar with your nose, but to obey your parents is a challenge. You are wasting your time. Because that obedience will benefit you more than your parents. It's for your own good. It's for your own good. But it is still a requirement of God. Obedience is a requirement of God. That is you remember when the children of Israel, they were going. When they started to disobey God, God had no option than to descend on them. Because they need to face the consequence of their disobedience. So a child that is disobeying his or her parent, the consequence will soon come. Will soon come. Some people will say God no dey vex. Na lie. Na lie. God dey vex. If God no vex, how did he carry out the destruction of the entire world? Only 8 souls. And that world lasted for 1,556 years. You say God no dey vex. Who told you? Who is your teacher? If you disobey your parents, they will vex. They will vex. And it will not benefit you. It will not benefit you. The failure of children to accept their role shatter the happiness of the home. You know, no parents will be happy when the child is going astray. They will be thinking, because they know the consequence, that this journey will end in peril. You know what happened when Paul was going to Rome for his trial? All the soldiers, they are making plan that they want to execute all the prisoners, that they should jump out. But Paul told them that I perceive anyone that stays in this ship will not die, but anybody that eventually jump out, that one will not reach. As we are seeing the island of Malta, he will not enter the place, he will die. They have to obey. So children, you need to obey your parents, because what they are seeing, you are not seeing it. No matter the vocabulary you can blow. Some even my mother is no go school. Who told you? Who told you? Who taught you how to potting, or what do they call it in early childhood? Who told you how to take care of your bonbon when you finish? Is it the school? There is what we call 3 types of education. Whether you can ride o, you can read, you cannot write o. We have what we call law of nature. So anybody that is now relegating his or her parents based because I'm this, you are this, they are the one that brought you up. The law of nature, traditional education they learn, your university career cannot even match, because we are reading that they have passed through the practical aspect of it, and you are shattering happiness in the home, because it's not a joyful thing when a parent will remember his child and breathe, may God not allow this child to kill me. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So, children, there is need for us to be obedient. The Bible says obedience is better than sacrifice. To hearken is better than the fat of ram. In 1 Samuel 15 verse 24, abi, obedience is better than sacrifice. So let our children try as much as possible to be obedient. The fact that government is restricting punishment, it doesn't mean parents cannot punish their children. What government is saying is limitation. You must handle things with caution, because the children too, they need to be handled with caution. Not just na me get my child, you now put mark on the body of your child. It is wrong. It's wrong. But children should not capitalize on that and be disobeying their parents. It's also wrong. The responsibility of parents: bring up children in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. How do you discipline a child? Before you can offer something, you must have what you want to offer. You cannot fetch water out of empty well. You cannot discipline a child when you too are not a disciplinarian. You will never pass through discipline, because these children, they are looking at you. In fact, you may not talk, they are learning. You may not talk, they are learning. they are learning. Even from the tummy, they learn. So, for you to discipline, bring up children in discipline and instruction of the Lord, you too must know the instruction of the Lord. Parents that don't even, since for almost 2 years, there are some family they never even open Bible at home. It's only when coming to church they carry it, even carry with caution, so that you believe they are like turtles. Out of 5 years, turtles will go to church once, and what oga turtles welcome, glory be to the Father, to the Son, to the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus, amen. Just for everybody to know that today Mr. Turtles attended service. He will give due respect, honor everybody moving from one place to the other. Turtles will be shaking hand. After that day, they are going to hiding. So before we can bring up children in discipline and instruction of the Lord, you too, you need to have idea of the mind of God. You need to have idea of the mind of God. Romans 6:1 says you can't continue in sin and be expecting the grace of God to abound. You can't continue to live a false life and you want to train your children in the way of God. Lie will not work. Will not work. Won't work. Discipline is an act of love. When we talk of discipline, it's act of love, not out of hatred. Children need discipline to develop properly. That is scripturally, educationally, spiritually. But it should not be out of hatred. It must be carried out of love. We used to say, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. There is need for us to give out instruction, advice, the do's and don'ts of the family. If there is anybody now flouting the instruction, the punishment should not be too much. It should be based on the age aggregate, not just anyhow. You cannot say because you are the father, you start kicking, bouncing like this. If you see something, say something. Anybody can report you and you can be arrested. Because that is wickedness. A home where children are not nourished, instructed, and discipline is an unhappy home. You have your own responsibility. You nourish, instruct, and discipline. But that discipline must be minimal. Or how many of us will be happy when the police just arrest you for traffic offense and they start beating you at the police station? If you know your right, you can sue them because they are not entitled to that. If they cannot trample on your rights and you take legal action, then you too should not trample on the right of other people. It should not be. We must nourish, instruct, and discipline so that there will be happiness in our home. There will be happiness so that the parent and the child will not cry together. You have seen cases where a child will say, well, I want to talk to my mother, because mother used to spoil children. They believe they love their children, but the love must not exceed the point of discipline the child. The child will now be telling the mother, when I stole, you did not caution me. I even saw one when the husband was saying, you are the one that caused this problem. The mother was saying, how? When this child stole a pencil in the school, I want to discipline him, he shut me down. When he did this, I want to discipline him, he shut me down. Who is to blame? So don't let us love too much to the point of failing in our responsibility. But we need to nourish our children, instruct them, and discipline them in a normal way, to not be excessive. In building a house, things have to be done in a certain order. The subfloor must be installed before carpet can be laid. Framing must be completed before the walls can be finished. In the home, there are priorities which must be established. Some things must come before others. We must get things in the right order before our home can be right. Consider some principles. It's telling us the process of construction. And if we look back, we will see what is going on here. It's a process. That is the way our family should be. You must first of all get space before you look for mat. If you carry mat now, are you coming to spread your mat in my land? You must first of all get space, then you can get mat. Everything has process, plan. If you don't follow the process, things will fall apart. Things will fall apart. So we must assemble things in the proper order. Very, very important. And there are some of us, they believe it doesn't matter. I can do whatever I like, don't worry. I know how to do it. Well, you can't jump it. Everything has process. The law of nature has process. You cannot born a child today and be expecting the same child to be getting up, trekking from here to that place. It has, the law of nature must be followed. In our family, the law of nature must be followed. The law of God must be followed. Even the law of government must be obeyed. Otherwise, there will be things will not work well. Consider some priorities. God before anything. Matthew 6:33. Some of us will believe Matthew 6:33 is just written there for decoration. It's for your own good though. It's for my own good. Seek ye for the kingdom of God. It's for our own good. There was a write-up concerning this Matthew 6:33. If you don't follow it, you are doing yourself. Because God has nothing to lose. God has nothing under the sun to lose. He is the maker. He can do and undo. And that was the reason when Christ was saying that if these people fail to praise me, I will turn the stone to do what? He has nothing to lose. It is me and you. So when he's saying, seek ye first, it's for your own good. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua, you see, let us try as much as possible to obey the law of God in our family. Very, very important. Every day, time will be set aside in the home for Bible study and prayer. There are some families, if you want to cause crisis, you say, raise up your hand. I know they do that kind of thing. But there are some families, prayer is not part of them. It's not part of them. They are always in hurry. Yorùbá sọ pé kò sẹ́ni tó lè sáré jù lẹ́lẹ́ lọ. You can't run past the ground. If you leave out by 3 a.m., you will meet somebody in front of you. Leave out by 2 a.m., somebody is ahead. So why not at least calm down a bit? Why not calm down a bit? I'm in hurry, I'm in hurry. Is it not when God protects you that you meet up the appointment? Eh? If God did not protect you, the appointment, in fact, if you are able to survive, oh, you now be asking, where was I going that day, sef? They will now be reminding you, you told us we are going so place. So don't let us take the law of God as something that is difficult. It's for my own good, it's for your own good. So those of us, including myself, that we find it difficult to pray, I think we should try and adjust our life. Because we are not paying. God did not say you must pay 1 naira before you talk to him. It's a free gift. And maybe because it's a free gift, that is the reason why we are taking liberty for because Yorùbá sọ fún ẹ pé oògùn tó o bá sanwó fún, you always dump it at the bedside. When they give you medicine, you did not pay for it, you will not use it. But if they bill you 50,000 and you struggle with pay, you want to finish the medicine so as to know whether the thing is going to work or, but the one they give to you free, you will not remember. Maybe because God say, talk to me anytime, any second. That is the reason why we are taking the instruction for fun. But don't let us deceive ourselves. Let us change. It's better we commit our outing to God. Because we are not the only one going out. Millions of people are struggling every day. Out of the numerous that went out, many were unable to meet up, to make it. They are unable. So let us try to do the right thing. This should be considered more essential than food for the physical body. Prayer is more essential because the food you are eating is just for within 6 hours. The food will digest. That prayer lasts longer, and is more beneficial than that food. So let us take priority in praying to God as a family. As a family, many cannot do without food, but they can do without prayer in their family for, in fact, they don't even remember prayer, but they cannot forgo their food. If the food is not ready before going to work, there will be crisis in that family early in the morning, but there won't be crisis if there is no prayer. Because head of government is in control, he doesn't care. So let us do the right thing. So much of our unhappiness stems from our failure to put God first. You see? Unhappiness stems from our failure to put God first. When you put God first, we are not saying you are not going to have, but it will reduce. God first solve a lot of problems. But so let us try. First thing first, it will be okay. Partner before self. 1 Corinthians 7, 3-4. Happiness in marriage comes from giving happiness to others. You see, we were having a program, Universal Research Society. The lecturer said if I don't give it to you, it's going to be a waste. I've acquired it already, so I need to give it to you so that it will not be a waste, because if I die with it, nobody will benefit. Nobody. It's like the knowledge you have without sharing it, the opportunity, the privilege you have without sharing it, is of no use. Happiness in marriage comes from giving happiness to others. When you give happiness to members of your family, in fact, you are going to benefit more. But if there is no happiness, unhappiness will take over, and nobody ever wish to experience unhappiness. That is why we don't carry out what is called external locus of control. You don't consider your contribution to the crisis going on. You now say, they say, preacher is the problem of the church. Why? The church supposed to start by 9. Preacher say make you no come to church by 9. But if you give them questionnaire, the first person that is the problem of this church is, what of you? What have you been contributing to the problem the preacher is giving to you? What effort are you making to do the right thing? Everybody will be looking for external forces, that these are my challenges, is caused by this, is caused by that. No, you need to give happiness to other people, so that people will receive happiness. Self-satisfaction is not the object of marriage. If you embark on self-satisfaction, somebody must give me 100% satisfaction alive. You must contribute your quota. Life, marriage is give and take. If you want to be receiving without giving, happiness may not be sure. So please, we need to do the right thing. Husbands are to love as Christ loved the church, Ephesians 5:25. That means that a husband must seek the welfare of his wife before his own. If this instruction is carried out, our family will be peaceful. Yes, but how many? Me. And that's what leads to crisis in some cases. But it is your duty to seek the welfare of your wife. There are some, their wife even be sick. The husband will not even know that there is discomfort in the family. As long as they woke up, they are bouncing out. Whatever happened, la, I don't care. If you blow, I don't care. Well, it will bounce back. Wives are to be submissive and supportive in everything, just as the church is to Christ. When we talk of church is to Christ, is the church that Christ shed his blood for, not just any church. The one founded by a human being can do whatever they like, but the one Christ shed his blood for, we must obey him in totality. Because Christ did not forget anything on the cross that you now want to add or to subtract. No. So we must obey him in totality. Likewise, wife must be submissive in totality, according to Ephesians 5:24. As the church must be willing to suffer for Christ, so must she put her husband's happiness and welfare above her own. It's vice versa. The husband must make sure the life of the wife is secure. The wife too must pay back There should be no selfishness. If there is, you are working contrary to the law of God and to the law of nature. So, we need to balance the equation. We need to balance the equation if you want happy home. If you don't balance the equation, there won't be happy home. Because nothing goes for nothing. Yes, there must be, your equation must be balanced. 2 plus 2 must equal to 4. Anything short than that, they will just put a question mark. This, you go back and do your own work. Children are a heritage from God. Psalm 127 verse 3. Some of the Lord's greatest blessings come through our children. But very often it is possible for the husband or wife to devote so much time to the children that the partner is giving second place. You see, immediately God bless some homes. Either the wife will be in control of the children, neglect the husband. Either the husband focus attention on the child, neglect the wife. That is not the rule of God. Omi lo ma kọ́kọ́ tẹ̀ kó tó tẹyán ni. When you enter river, you put your leg inside water before you match sand. Not that child. Some of us will believe, I'm after my child, you abandon your husband. I'm after my child, you abandon your wife. Who does that? Who does that? It's wrong. When this occur, unhappiness is sure to follow. When you abandon your partner, definitely unhappiness will follow, and there will be peace. Happy home will not be happy again, because you need to do things according to rules and regulations, one thing after the other. Don't take the grace of God to cause crisis in the home. No. The Bible teaches that the strongest bond in human relations is not that between a child and a parent, but between husband and wife. That is the strongest bond. But how many families? How many families are ready? The strongest bond should be between husband and wife. Not that one will now decide. I think they were discussing here last Sunday. Some people will go to America. They will not come back. Abandon A, abandon B. It's not the plan of God. It's human design. And we not work for the good of the family. No, why should you travel and abandon your partner? You are going there to enjoy. Me, I'm going there trekking from Yanasola to the house. And you expect me to be praying for you. Eh? Eh? Ah. It's not done. If you want to be enjoying there, I too must be there to enjoy. Not that I will continue trekking here. It's not done. Genesis 2:24. Partner in marriage become one flesh. Their obligation to teach to each other takes priority over their obligation to children. That is the book of Genesis. You need to match water first before you match sand. You can't bypass your partner and say children. No. It's illegality, and it's not approved by God. It's not approved by God. Even humanity, let them live their life anyhow. But it won't bring a blessing, because you cannot be tormenting one at the expense of the other. If children become the center of the family, it is hard for parents to let them grow up and develop their own independent identities. When you parents take over too much, the children will not benefit. They will not be able to use their brain. Somebody said, you send a child to school to solve problem in the family. Allow that child to solve problem. Because the essence of research is to solve problem. But if you now in fact it will affect the child. It will affect. Parents should not indulge in hide and seek game. No. And when the children finally do leave home, the parents may find that they have little left in common. You see, when maybe the wife is the one taking care, just divert the whole attention to the children, abandon the husband. By the time the children leave the home, the two of them will now be living like cat and rat, fight with search, because they have lost the first love. They don't even know where to start, not to talk of where to end. Crisis will start. At that time, you see marriage of so years, I'm seeking for divorce, because they have left the genesis of the marriage. They've left the genesis of the marriage. So, and as Christians, we're supposed not to end up in that way. If we end up in that way, what are we learning? What are we learning? The essence of learning is for one to change, to improve. Just as somebody said, lack of information is a crime. You are committing a crime not until you steal somebody's money or you embezzle this before you commit crime. When you don't have information that will benefit your future, you are committing a crime. Children learn about love by seeing the love of their parents for each other. Yes, home is the genesis of love for children. But if the love between the father and mother is cat and rat, in fact, you will pray a lot. Their whole sense of security rests in the parent love for each other. Their security is when the parents are unmovable. They are like Odumo rock. In fact, they feel secure. But if otherwise is the case, the situation, it may not be okay. The best thing you can do for your child, for your children, is to love your wife more. That's the only legacy you can leave for your children. But when you fail in that area, well, time will tell. So, children before others. When we bring children into the world, we start a soul toward eternity. A soul that will never die, that will spend eternity in either heaven or hell. Blessing of a child, when the child is born, the soul will not die. But what you make out of that child is either going to heaven or hell. A parent is responsible for the building to those early years, the kind of experiences which will help the child get to heaven. That is the duty of the parents. You lay the foundation. When you finish, come and see. This is a good example. If the family, okay. Sorry for taking our time. Okay. A parent is responsible in building to those early years the kind of experience which will help the child get to heaven. Too often, though we allow our children to be shortchanged, we let other people have the time we should be spending with them. There are some parents that they fail woefully because their responsibility has been transferred to other people. Is their neighbor, community that is teaching their children, advising their children, counseling their children. The friends are the one in control. Who does that? It's failure. It's failure. We should have time for our family. I'm not saying don't work, because the Bible says he who cannot provide for his family is more than the unbeliever. But any type of work that will make you not to have time for your family, you need to pray so that you get something, another job that will enable us to be more responsible, because that is our core area in life. If you fail from home, Sunshine Bobo, that is legal terminology. You are Mr. Sunshine, that one will not benefit you at all. Sometimes we promise to do things with our children and then someone else demands our time. You see, you say we want to spend time with our children, but sometimes our relation friends take our time. You remember what happened to Eli? Eli, the man of God, he was hardworking, dedicated. God did not find fault in him concerning his duty. But where he offended God was his failure to look after his children. And that was the reason why the three of them died in one day. The two sons and Eli. Why? Because of his failure. And it do happen to many preachers too. Many. They'll be moving from place to place, from place to place. The family will be out of control. So it's not only members. Many preachers too. They are not resting. It is true. They are hardworking, doing God's work, but the family is suffering. So let us try as much as possible to caution ourselves to have time for our family. Because if we fail, God may not be happy with us. Just as he was not happy with Eli. Eli was a man of God. He was active. In fact, call Eli at the dead of the night, he's responding, but there is vacuum, there is gap in his family. And it's not good. God was not happy. God may not be happy with us too if we allow vacuum that will affect our family negatively to exist. So let us try to mend the fence before it is too late. And we find it easier to disappoint a child than someone else. We should not disappoint our own family at the expense of others. It is better I disappoint you than disappointing my family. Yes. Yes. Because the issue of Eli is a lesson. It's a lesson. We need to be up and doing. Because I'm attending to this, I'm attending to that. Therefore, I feel at home. You know what Joshua said? If for me and my family, we will do this, because he has carried out his own work properly. So let me too, and you too, try our best so that if we work well. The world often judges a man's success by his financial and business success. That is the criteria of the world. Moving from continent to continent. Yes, Wigwe, the richest man in Africa, where is he today? He's a successful man, but where is he today? So let us try as much as possible. That is the level of judgment people give in the world. But no man is truly successful if he neglect his children to be his business. You are not a successful person when you neglect your children because you are building an empire. Who is going to inherit that empire? Yorùbá ní ọmọ tá ò kọ́ ló máa gbé ilé tá a kọ́ tà. If you don't train your children, the empire you are building, before you build land like this, they don't sell them. Use the money frivolously. Yes. But if there is home training, even if we don't leave anything for them, they will survive. They survive. Yes. So don't let us allow business to take over our responsibility at home. Anybody who does that, that business may not even last hours after your death because they did not suffer for it. We need to look through God's eyes. When he gave the qualification for elders, he didn't say successful in business, but he did say successful at home. You see? Successful at home, not in business. Because God is not recognizing you because of your wealth, your business. He is recognizing you based on the legacy you left behind at home. If you acquire everything and your children are vagabond, you are also, don't let me say the otherwise. So, that's why God recognized successful home in 1 Timothy 3:4-5, Titus 1, verse 6. Spiritual before material. 2 Corinthians 4:18. Paul urges us to look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. What Paul is saying is physical things are temporary things. We made them in this world. The day we die, we are not going with anything. But the unseen things, that is what you have done, labor for in heaven. Because our spirit is undying spirit, he is going to give account before God. So if you don't take care of that one that will give account, you are taking care of the one when you die, you EFCC will even capture everything. The neighbors will, like Obasanjo farms, everywhere total. Once he die today, the Omonile will start fighting over their property. He has a lot of land at total. That is sin. But we need to prepare for eternity. Okay, my Oga, I rest my case. We stop spiritual before material. Thank you. I will not exceed the time given to me. May God bless the message in Jesus' name. Any question? In the absence of question. Prayer. I think, okay. But Konobu, I think I saw your hand up here.
Thank you very much. There is this program that I watched. It was, I don't know, the name, it was called in America. So a lady came one day, there was a case that came when the judge asked the woman, why do you want to divorce your husband? What even caused this? It may look funny, but very serious. The woman said, the woman is a marriage of 35 years. Their children were all even married. So the children were not even living with them. He was complaining that the man had left the things they used to do before they started having children. Every time he complained, the man does not listen. Before they used to hang out together. To go take work on, sometimes watch movie. But this time the man is always ready to because you buy expensive things that he is not even interested in those expensive things that the man has because the children has forgotten everything about her. The things that he did that made him to like that made her to like the man. You understand? So that because of that they want divorce. So the lady now started, they asked the man so many questions, over 30 minutes program. So the man, the judge now said, okay, instead of divorce, let them see how they can work on the case and maybe the man will start doing the things they were supposed to do. So where my question is coming from now, in situations like that, especially in the present day Nigeria, where things are not the way it was probably when they started. And the woman is insisting that they continue doing those things that they have been doing and the man does not have that resources. How do you think situations like that can be settled?
If you listen to the explanation very well, one, the failure started after the family started to have children. That was the genesis of their problem. Probably is the womb. I'm not there. Maybe the woman changing the system after they start having children, they putting more attention to the children than the husband, and that one may make the husband to lose focus. I wasn't there, but it's likely because